Welcome to part three. We're just waiting for Jerry to join us. It shouldn't be too long. For those of you that like Poker's Corner, feel free to jump onto Poker's International YouTube. Building up a bit of momentum on there. It's all good stuff. All good stuff. Here we are. Here's Jerry. Women love him, men want to be him. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm all right, mate.
Good man. The rumor is Ebony Bridges is pregnant. It's a who done it. What do you think to that, Jerry?
I think Professor Plum did it in the library with the candlestick, mate. Laughing at my own jokes. That's terrible.
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it, really?
It's a bit what, sorry, mate?
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it, if it's true, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen a photo and there's a bump and everything. So unless she's got a pillow up her dress, which could be a possibility, looks like she might be preggers, mate.
Yeah.
Who's done it? Oh,
Well, the obviously there's names in the frame, but so one of them's my pal, and I don't really care for others who are in frame, but I don't think it's Thibaut. He's married to a stunning lass been with from school, so we take him out of the equation. But you put Bombay David mix, wouldn't you?
maybe. Well, I think Bombay Dave.
Conor McGregor.
Well, I'll get to him, right? I think because that's the only guy out of the two that you've mentioned who Ebony has been licking all around. As far as Bombay Dave goes, it's been the other way around. He looks like he's so eager to train her because he's got his tongue hanging out with obviously her and his company. But the one that Ebony Bridges has been vocally, like, saying that she fancied McGregor or whatever. So that's the one I would initially put my money on. But I heard Conor McGregor's wife's a bit of a tough woman and rules him with a bit of an iron fist. Somebody told me this, so I don't know if it's true or not. But maybe he'd be too afraid to cheat. But you know what scumbags are like.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but you put Bombay Dave in there. What about the Gad? Would you put him as an outside bet?
No, because he doesn't have any genitalia. He's like an action man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have no bits. I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
No. Well,
Would
yeah.
you have the guy?
Well,
Sorry, mate. Go
I'd
ahead.
have the Gad. I'd have the Gad in as an outside bet, wouldn't you? You'd have the Gad as an outside bet, surely, man. He's always in mix, isn't he?
Maybe he is a sleazy character. Like, what did he say? Ebony Bridges was the Muhammad Ali of women's boxing. Wasn't that what he said?
They
So
were his words, only because he was trying to get his end away.
yeah. So, but I don't think. I think she'd probably look at the guy and think he's a bit pathetic. Like, unless he got her steaming drunk and she kind of took a wee shine to him one night. You never know, mate. Outside bet, then maybe. Outside bet, maybe. I'm going with McGregor on this one.
Yeah, I'd go for it because she'd want to get somebody. She'd want to bag somebody who's got loads of dough, wouldn't she?
And then she can screw him for all the money he's got, through courts and all that sort of stuff. That sounds about right. Because let's face it, her fighting career is not going very far, is it?
She's not fought for God knows how long in UK, has she? Couple of years
No,
now,
she's like,
and like Shannon Courtney's not fought for a couple of years. Dylan White and Crusher. I mean, what's going on there? They're serving silent ones, Jerry. What's happening?
oh well, I have no doubt that Crusher's definitely serving a ban. Dillian White as well, and he's tried to kind of cover that up with his wee fight over here in Ireland. just to make it look a little bit more like, oh, I'm not banned, but obviously he's fighting in a different country, but it is only across the water, so doesn't seem like it's far away, but technically it's not Britain, like. So yeah, the likelihood is both those two guys are probably serving bans.
Well, we know, Jerry, what's going on, don't we? We know. I mean, nobody's going to speak, either, because I spoke to a legal person and he was telling me very serious implications for anybody who breaks these order kind of things. You know what I mean? Very serious.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it is what it is. Who's the pressure on then, AJ or Dubois? Because it's big fight week here, and who's the pressure on?
AJ, because he's been the champion before, and surely Dubois knows being given a belt doesn't make you a champion. So I'm going to say AJ. The pressure's on AJ, mate, because he's the one with the reputation. He's the golden boy from the Olympics. He's the butter wouldn't melt, do-gooder, all that soppy stuff that Eddie Hearn has built up this fake image of Anthony Joshua over the years. He's got to please the fans and do all that sort of stuff. So the pressure's on him. The pressure's definitely on him, I think. What way do you see that?
I see the pressures on AJ, because if he gets beat, how's the Fury fight still there? How?
It's there. It's there if Fury gets beat by Usyk. I think it'll be a battle of the losers, mate, and they'll do it for the money, because you know how people have paid for worse matchups, like Kell Brook, Amir Khan. Well, who the hell wanted to see that at that time?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Kell Brook's coming back, they reckon.
Oh dear. And I like Kell Brook as well, so that's not something I want to hear. When did you hear that?
Somebody told me the other day he's in Rhodes and he's pushing 39-year-old and he's on about coming back.
Oh, I think that's a mistake, mate. Do you not?
I don't want to see Kell come back. He's achieved so much, and he's 39 in May.
Yeah.
So he's walking around at £200. So
Really?
Yeah, he's walking around at £200. So if he did come back, it'd just be for money, wouldn't it? Really, if he came back.
Yeah, I just don't know where he would go. Like, would he attempt cruiserweight or light heavy? And I don't see that division's pretty good at the minute. Like, so who would he fight? Like, I
It'd
don't
have
see
to be
that
a
going.
gimmick fight, wouldn't it? Like Billy Joe or I don't know, Eubank or something like that. He won't be chasing Charlo down or any of them, would he?
No, that's terrible. Like, who they could put him in with? Like, I wouldn't want to see him. Billy Joe's never coming back. There's no way he's never coming back, in my opinion.
No.
We just stick him in with Eubank, maybe, maybe. Um, don't even know who I would pick in that. Probably go with the slightly more active Eubank, but when I say active, we use that loosely.
Well, we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see. Do you think if he comes back, he'll go back to flex?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know how strong a bond to have. Like, maybe. But then he might look at the fact that who's flex trained recently. He might pick some trainer that's the flavor of the month and bypass flex altogether. But flex might end up writing a song and trying to get him hook him back in, because he's probably looking for another payday. So he would love that, but you don't know. That he probably, the likelihood is he probably would go back to flex.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Eubank, who's he going to fight after this Dosser is fighting? The people in the mix: Billy Joe, Crawford, Canelo, Ben, Lara, age 42, and Beefy Smith trilogy. What's going on there? Crawford and Canelo, right? He's not no chance in them. So if he loses, you won't count that, would he, as a loss?
Yeah, true.
It's a gimmick fight. He's a welterweight. Eubank's a super middle, stroke middle. Lara's 42. Beefy fight we've seen twice. Sauna's been hard at game over 10 years, fat as a pig. What's going on with Eubank? Why don't you chase the guy above him in the rankings at number 1, Charlo? He's number 2. Charlo's number 1.
Well, the easy answer to that is the guy obviously doesn't give a toss about being a notable boxer in the history of the sport. He's I think he's just cottoned on to the idea of I'm going to use this to get as much money out of it as I can without having to do a terrible lot of work. I think his intentions in the earlier part of his career were definitely. He gave me the impression he was a guy who wanted to be a champion and mean something in the sport. But I mean, he's fallen off the wagon by a long way to becoming somebody like that in the sport. So now I see him as he's just looking to milk the sport. So he would probably choose. I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier. I thought the Lara fight, right? He would choose that, so he could perhaps have an easy opportunity to take a belt off somebody, world title, and then at least he's achieved that because so far he hasn't had one of the major organizations at all. I mean, he's had an IBO, but in his head that probably doesn't count really. So say he goes for Lara, he gets that's if he even wins, But say he goes for Lara, gets a belt, can call himself a world champion, and then takes crappy gimmick fights from then on until he ends his career, or he doesn't bother with Lara and goes for a gimmick fight for maximum money. I don't know. It gives me the impression that it looks like he does want to just milk a sport and go for maximum money potential. So he's probably dying for Billy Joe to come back, but Billy Joe's not coming back.
You think going back to Kell Brook? Do you think he's just stuck for so much to do with his life?
Oh yeah, mate, 100%. I feel really sorry for him as well. He's got that whole thing, finished with the sport and just can't be content with going fishing or going for a run and doing other sports. Or he's obviously, yourself, how many retired fighters just don't know what to do with the rest of their life, and sometimes they end up in bad way. Do you know what I mean? And Kell, I think he's come out of retirement once already. He gives me the vibe that he's a guy who has got itchy feet and misses the game. You know what I mean? Misses the game and hasn't been able to fill the void with something else, which is really sad because he could come back and it'll be a car crash and he could get really hurt or it could just go badly for him. So hope he's thinking about things properly and makes the right decision.
Yeah, it's I hope it works out for Kell Brook, but I just think that he'll be probably bored to death, won't he? You think, Jerry? Jerry, your picture's frozen. Jerry, your face is frozen, mate. What's happened to you? You there, mate? You're frozen.
Yeah, that's me back now. I can hear you okay.
Okay. Sonny Edwards has come out and he's sticking it to McCracken for training Joshua and Frotch up at EIS and having his cake and eating it, amateur and pro.
Yeah.
The first person I've come out and first matchroom fighter I've seen come out and stick it to Robert McCracken about what he's done in past. You think that shows that the relationship between McCracken and Eddie Hills has broken down?
Yeah. I mean, fair play that Sonny's, calling a spade a spade. But yeah, I mean, I think that relationship with Hearn and McCracken's probably been fractured quite a bit, or quite a while ago, to be honest. Probably, when did Joshua leave him? Like, it's probably been fractured from either just before then, or just after then.
I think it went downhill as soon as Joshua took his first loss. I think first Eddie were angry, then he were upset, then he were looking for somebody to blame, and then the whispering campaign started. This is how I've heard it. And then all the fingers started pointing at McCracken and questioning his training methods and that. But McCracken went to court and got Joshua off, didn't he, when he were on remand?
Yeah.
At court. So I think it's a bit shabby how they've treated Robert McCracken. But they've had it off, haven't they? They've had millions out of game. And that's all it's about now, isn't it? It's millions.
Yeah. That's what turns the sport and drives it and gets these guys to do what they do.
You think someone was in order coming out, speaking out about it? Why wasn't he saying it before? When Joshua were riding high with McCracken. Why not say something then if he's known all this time? Is somebody putting bullets, giving him bullets to fire?
That could be the case. That could be the case. Or maybe he's just decided, right, I'm just gonna say these things because that's how I feel. And he's reached the end of his tether. Maybe that's giving him too much credit though. Perhaps somebody's had a word in his ear and asked him to, take shots on his behalf. Maybe there'll be something in it for him if he does so. So you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. It's a whodunit, isn't it? It's an
Yeah.
What do you think to Ben Whitaker against Liam Cameron? How do you see that fight going when they get at it?
So I'm not a fan of Whitaker at all, and I would like Liam Cameron to beat him. But what I see happening is a really messy points victory for Whitaker, unfortunately, particularly because he's rubbed everybody up the wrong way. He's all about social media. People are probably, hedging their bets on him now and, going to try and make him into some kind of, I'll not say superstar, but they're going to try and make him into a personality anyway. So the odds are against Liam Cameron, like before he even gets in the ring, in my opinion, because they'll want Ben Whitaker to win that fight, and not Liam Cameron. The only way I see Liam Cameron winning is if he totally dominates. I could see it being a messy affair, Russ, to be honest, just with the way Whitaker fights. Yeah, I could see it being a scrappy, messy affair, and then it's a dull points victory for Whitaker. What way do you see it?
I see Ben Whitaker beating Liam comfortably. That's what I see on points. I think he's too fresh. I want Liam to punch him upside down, but I think that 5-year out at games not doing him any good, has it?
No, no, and he's probably been matched against Whitaker to pad Whitaker's record out a little bit more.
Yeah. What about Tyler Denny against Amzad Shiraz? What do you think to that, Jerry?
I'd be looking forward to watching that.
Mm.
Don't think Tyler Denny's too shabby, but I think Hamza Shiraz is his last fight really, really impressed me. He's super clever. You can see he's sort of thinking about what his next move's going to be when he's in the middle of the fight, basically, and he's not sort of doing making any stupid sort of decisions. So I just think he's going to be too much for Tyler Denny, but it'd be an interesting scrap, I think.
Very interesting. I think Josh Kelly against Ismail Davis is a good fight, to be honest.
So that's that late replacement then. Yeah, it could be a good scrap.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Okay. Kevin Larina, do you remember him? Who fought Daniel Dubois?
Daniel Dubois, yeah, the heavyweight South African guy, yeah.
He's calling out Lawrence Okolie. So
interesting. Do
you think Lawrence Okolie should really be mixing Saudi with all them heavyweights? Because he's a two-weight world champion and he's big enough to be an heavyweight. Do you think Lawrence Okolie is becoming like the forgotten man, even though he's a world champion?
Possibly. It doesn't help that he's got fair play, he's got a world championship belt. But I mean, is the Bridger weight division going to exist from now until the end of time, or it's not really taken off? I think that's kind of part of the problem, because he's kind of won in that division where no one really seems to care about it at the minute. No one really seems to care about it at the minute, and it's like, oh, you're out here when the champion of that division, but meanwhile other things are taking over in other divisions, and if he's kind of chosen to remain in Bridgerweight, then I think he's doing himself more harm than good. If I was him, I would vacate that belt. He's a champion. Vacate that belt and start either campaigning as proper heavyweight ASAP. I mean, it's not like he's not the right weight, obviously. So, what's stopping him campaigning now properly at heavyweight?
I know. Interesting. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, Jerry, thanks for coming on. I'll let you get back to watching the Liverpool game and AC Milan.
I used to support AC Milan.
Hey?
I used to support AC Milan, so I definitely want them to beat Liverpool.
Yeah. AC Milan, and you're an Irishman.
Oh, back in the day, mate, in the early 90s, when I would have been big into football, I used to support Man United and AC Milan. And Milan were big back in the early 90s, European Cup, and they had Ruud Gullit and
Van Basten.
Van Basten. Oh, Van Basten.
Rijkaard. Was it Rijkaard as well? AC Milan.
Yeah. The Dutch trilogy or Trinity, isn't that what they called them?
Yeah.
Those guys. But yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, listen, you take care, Joey. You've been a real tonic. Cheers, mate.
No worries. Take it easy, mate.
Bye. Well, that was Jerry. Women love him, men want to be him. Well, that's about it. Don't forget Porky's International YouTube. And you, Roberto Smith, don't forget Gary Sykes' belt, or I'll be on you like a rash. Pop, pop, bang.